Hey, I'm Will.
I'm Chris,
We're Compass Cavern.
and you're listening to Concert Crap.
Hey guys, this is Allie from Concert Crap. I am here with Will and Chris from Compass Cavern. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great,
Good, pretty good.
really good.
Awesome. Well, I am super excited to have you guys on our podcast. So, I have to say, couple weeks ago, I was just driving listening to 93.3 and I hear Flow. And I had never heard the song before. And I was just like, holy shit, this is such a good song. Like, I am all about it. So, looked you guys up, started listening to your music like crazy. Now you have a new fan. So, wanted to say congratulations on making the top 10 for the Hometown for the Holidays. I personally think you should have at least been top 3, but
Well, it's very nice.
it is what it is.
We also think that.
You should have won. Screw it. Let's say it.
Yeah. No, it would have been great. It would have been great. Top 10 was pretty incredible, though.
Yeah. So how was that whole competition? How did that help expose you guys more?
Well, I mean, this is a great example. I think we've had a few people. I just say we've noticed people here and there, like tweeting or reposting or whatever it is on social media, just like, wow, this Compass Cavern band, the song Flow is pretty cool. And it's been fun to see people who are like Chris, you don't know this person, right? Like, okay, yeah, neither do I. This is actually just someone who heard us on the radio, and they're not biased. You know, it's just nice to see the organic kind of people who just do like the music come out and be like, whoa, this is a cool song.
Yeah,
Totally.
and we've been in Colorado for a long time, so we know how big of a deal the Hometown for the Holidays competition is. We've applied now for probably 7 or 8 years. We've always submitted a song, so this is the first time being a part of it, and yeah, it was just really cool.
That's okay. So first time being a part of it and then making top 10 too. That's awesome. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So your sound, I love it. It's very, I want to say raw because it's just, I don't know. I love the sound of it. Who are your musical influences?
Cool.
Wow.
Chris, you go first. I've been thinking about this one.
Well, okay, so if you've listened to a lot of Compass and Cavern music, our music kind of spans like a lot of different genres and sounds. I think Flow specifically, I think there are elements of Coldplay in Flow. I don't know if Will would like that description, but
I'm okay with that. Our friend is not okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I think some of the Flow guitar has elements of Coldplay. I think the drums very much inspired by the Mute Math. Like, we love the Mute Math drummer, Darren King, the original drummer, Darren King, and some of those really fast, energetic drums that we use in Flow. I feel like kind of came from that inspiration. The stacked harmonies, maybe I should leave that to Will, but I tend to think of Queen with like what we did with the word flow in the choruses.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like specific to Flow. Maybe Will can talk about like the bigger influences.
Sure, yeah. I also want to add on to what you were saying because I like that. The harmonies, and I'm actually struggling right now to think of an actual song example, but I remember at the time when we were doing demos, I was thinking of AWOL Nation.
Oh.
And I feel like he must do some weird harmony. He must do something like that. It just had the kind of weird harmony thing that I feel like he would do, which just comes out of nowhere and then goes away, and it comes out of nowhere and goes away. I sort of like that.
I love that.
And then the other thing with Flow, and Flow is actually pretty different compared to the rest of our discography, which has been very interesting for me, thinking that that's the one that got us in the top 10. I'm like, all right, well, what piece was it? There's so many things that are different. Like, this one was kind of an anomaly. I'd love to know what it was that really worked. Maybe just all of it. I don't know. But we did a distorted keys for the rhythm, and like a Rhodes sound, like distorted electric piano sound in the chorus, instead of like kind of just chugging on guitar power chords, which is kind of our go-to. And it has a similar sound, but it's not. I think you can tell the difference. And that was inspired by just a few like Crash Kings. They don't have a guitarist in the dude who plays keys. Does all sorts of creative stuff with distortion and makes it sound like a guitar sometimes, or other times just a really powerful sound that's not quite guitar but has the same role. Crash Kings is a good example for that. But there are other bands that do just keys, and I think that's it's cool when they like, because I love guitar. I mean, maybe it's obvious.
Yeah, move your head for a second.
I get the whole.
There you go. But there's something really cool to me about bands that replace the classic role of guitar in their songwriting, and it doesn't feel like there's something missing. It's not like they're trying to go around it; they're just doing something instead, and I like that.
I think that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
question for you, kind of going back to Hometown for the Holidays, how did you guys decide to submit Flow, or how did you choose the song to send in?
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. So I'll start, Chris. You can end this one.
Yeah.
Chris and I were talking about it. We had a couple songs we went back and forth on, and we couldn't, like, it was like song A. It was coming out in a little bit. We're like, this is pretty good for this reason, but maybe maybe it won't work for this reason. And this other one, we're like, well, it has this really long intro, but like once it gets into it might work. And then we're like, maybe neither works. What about Flow? And just it was kind of a third option that we didn't consider at first. And as soon as we started talking about it, I don't know, I thought it was like, this is actually a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm almost upset. Like, it was almost upsetting if we had missed that. You know?
I remember texting about it, and Flow wasn't even on my radar, and then
Yeah.
you suggested it, and it kind of makes sense. Like it's got a formula that follows it's formulaic in a way that's good for radio. You've kind of got your hook in the beginning, a short verse, you get to the chorus, in 45 seconds or something like that, and so it
Exactly.
worked. But I also felt like it was a unique song where hopefully people don't listen to Flow and say, oh, this sounds like something else that I listen to all the time.
Well, that's completely what hooked me on that, because I feel like, and no offense to 93.3, I feel like a lot of the music that they play is kind of very generic or around the same. They all kind of sound the same. So I heard Flow and I was like, ooh, all right. I am down. I love it.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Actually, a question for you real quick, Allie. Did they introduce it as, they probably introduced the song as saying it was, a local band, but, or did you?
It was afterwards. So they played the song, and then after they said, all right, this was Flow by Compass Cavern. They're up for Hometown for the Holidays.
So did you think it was legit before you knew we were local?
Yeah, completely. I had no idea you were a local band and that you guys were up for that. I was just like, this is an awesome song, and I really like it. So
That's a great reaction.
Yeah, I love that. I'm trying to act calm.
well, I'm glad I can provide you with that.
It's really good.
Awesome. 2020, the shit show of a year.
Yes. Yes.
You guys still had some stuff going. You had your single released, Still a Child, which I just heard that song a couple days ago, and I've been listening to it nonstop because I just right now feel like I can really relate to that. But I mean, we all can. Come on, I'm almost 30, and I still feel like I'm a kid. So
Exactly.
you had Still a Child, you had Flow, and then you also had your 2 holiday songs that you guys came out with. So it was awesome to see that you guys were still busy. Was it hard to stay motivated during quarantine and the bullshit of COVID?
What do you think, Chris? You want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, so we're fortunate. We've got other things going on kind of outside the recording and writing world. Like, we have a college booking agency who hooked us up with a few virtual shows. So we were able to perform during COVID, which is great. Perform for like
In our
humans.
basement,
Hey, you got to make it work.
It worked. It was cool, actually. I liked it, yeah.
Yeah, and we've got our music in a music catalog called Artlist, which is a site where creators can go and download music and use it in their own creations and their YouTube channels or videos. And so we get notifications all the time for people using our music in other capacities. And so we kind of had other things to fuel us throughout the year. I mean, obviously from like a live show perspective, 2020 was a wash, but we had a lot to be excited about and kind of grateful for as musicians.
Kept you guys busy.
Yeah. I think as far as... Oh, sorry, I missed that. Frozen. You're frozen, Allie. Okay, you're back. You're back. At least. I was going to say, I think for me, I definitely felt motivated to use all my time at home for like songwriting and mixing and stuff. So actually, little side note, we can get into it more later because I really was excited about it. But we're doing this 3x3 EP weird thing that it will take a little bit to explain. But on each EP, we are mixing one of our songs, which is unusual for us. And Flow was the one we chose to mix on our EP, on our Still a Child EP. So I spent a lot of time doing that at the beginning of the year. And was very happy that it paid off. And then we've had other songs we've been working on. I've been working on just getting better at mixing and recording and songwriting in general. So really, it felt more like a I don't know, like a hibernation type thing for me. I'm like, okay, this is almost kind of cool. Like, let's not even worry about live shows, except for the occasional virtual one. And like, what can we do in the, with all this time at home and I've got all this gear? Like, let's write some songs. How good can they sound? Like that kind of thing. So I really liked that. Like part of me is conflicted because I've gotten used to it, and I think I miss live shows, but if everything just opens up immediately, I'm going to be like, well, where's all that studio time I used to have? Like I used to be at home for hours. It was nice.
That's a great point. I know I'm sure so many artists have really used this time to write, better yourselves with everything that you're doing. And that's awesome too that you guys are mixing your own songs.
Trying, getting better.
But still, that's not many people can say that, so I commend you for it. So Chris, you were saying that you guys had some other side projects. I kind of did a little research, and you guys did a Disney cover band with Creature Canopy. And what was it called? The Man Cubs.
Yes.
What? I love that idea. What started that idea? Why?
I love that you've done the research and you found that. Yeah, I mean, years ago. So we're good friends with the guys in Creature Canopy, Cody and Joe, and our good friend Colin is also part of the Man Cubs, which is the formal project that we started this year.
Okay.
So I think in February we launched the Man Cubs officially, and then obviously COVID hit.
Worst timing ever to start.
Perfect timing, right?
Yeah, but we've actually been playing the Disney cover show for a few years now, as our separate bands who kind of came together for like ad hoc shows. Yeah, the supergroup show. But the Man Cubs is the best.
At the front door.
It's awesome.
That is such a fun idea. How did you guys come up with it? Were you just like sitting around like, hey, I'd love to jam out to some Disney tunes? Like, why not?
Yeah,
so, okay, well, we played a show with Creature Canopy years ago, just when it was just us playing our original music and they played their original music. They were like one of us played before the other, And we got dinner afterwards and we just talked about some other local band that had done some the whole show was like covering the Strokes or something. It was like, maybe it was even a Halloween show. It might have been a Halloween show where one band covered, a local band covered the Strokes exclusively for a set and they dressed up like them. Another band did Tenacious D. That was a year later. Anyway. We thought, well, what if we did that? Like, what would we do if we teamed up and did an entire show that was all covers? And our first thought was like 90s and early 2000s boy and girl bands. Oh. I still think that's a great idea, like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls in there. Actually, Creature Canopy does an incredible cover of "Say You'll Be There." Spice Girls, yeah. Unbelievable cover. I'm so jealous of them. They nailed it. But then someone recommended, someone just threw out Disney, and we're all like, Disney, yeah, Disney. And we're like, that's the one. I'm like, you could be this villain. You'd be so good at that, Joe. And like, Cody, you'd be such a good hype guy for this. Like, it just took off.
That's a really fun idea, though. What was your favorite Disney song to play?
Oh my God.
One of my favorites has always been Under the Sea. The Creature Canopy guys, Cody and Joe, did the arrangement for that one. And it's just like an upbeat punk kind of feel. And it's just so fun to play. And we do like the little guitar thing. We do two guitars doing it at the same time, and it's just like it's rock and it's funny. It's funny and awesome. And
you can hear it on Spotify.
Yes,
I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yes.
Is it just on Under the Man Cubs?
Yeah.
Spotify?
Yeah. One of my favorites now is I guess it's kind of always been one of our favorites to perform is Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Ooh.
And it's just outrageous. Like every time we play it, I look at all the guys on stage, and I just can never stop laughing because we're all taking on these different voices and characters, and it's hilarious.
That
it's incredible.
Is so. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Hopefully, you can see a Man Cub show sometime once the world opens back up.
Yes.
COVID, let's get this shit done with. I'm ready to go see a live show again. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Will, can you elaborate a little more on that 3-part EP?
Yes, absolutely. I think I have this right here. This is the best way to do it. Check this guy out.
Ooh, all right.
Boom. Oh, wait.
So there
we go.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so basically we're recording 3 EPs, and the EPs are, this is actually harder than I thought. They're vertical. So like the EP we released this year had Signaling, Still a Child, and Flow, which is the far left. Wow, this is so hard to go backwards and get the... Here we go. It won't do it, but you get the idea. Basically, we're recording three-song EPs. Each one is at a different studio. The studios are the Blasting Room, Voodoo Studios, and then our basement. So it's kind of a weird little science experiment. Like, okay, let's do this studio in Fort Collins that everyone always talks about. The studio in New York with the mixing engineer we've been working with for years and had never worked with until actually this summer. There was a nice little gap where travel was technically allowed, and we were like wearing masks in the studio and everything. It was crazy. And then the third one is just our basement, just kind of to see what can we do on our own. But anyway, at each studio we work with a different guy. Like at Blasting Room we worked with Jason Livermore. And so for each EP, he will mix one of them. And then Mike Watts is from Voodoo Studios. He'll mix one of them on each EP, and then we mix one of them. So it's this weird like cross-section, which is why this is maybe the best way to show it. If it would focus...
Almost 2021, you'd think our technology would allow it to focus for more than 2 seconds.
I know, it's trying.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay, you had it for a bit. So basically the first EP was Still a Child, Signaling, and Flow. We recorded that at the Blasting Room. We had Mike Watts mix Still a Child, Jason Livermore mix Signaling, and we mixed Flow. And then we did the same thing at Voodoo Studios with the middle column, and then we're doing the same thing with our basement. Everyone's mixing one song, and the studio engineer of the studio we recorded at gets to choose their favorite. So that was sort of the fun thing too, yeah.
Hell yeah, that's really cool.
I need to work on my pitch though. That's really complicated. I hope that made some sense.
I think you did a good job.
Okay.
I think so too. So do you have a preference of which? See, in one way, I feel like if I was recording in my basement, I'd feel just the most comfortable there because it's your home. But then again, It's like, okay, we're doing this all on our own. Like, we don't have anybody's input. So do you have a preference? Do you prefer that? Do you prefer being in the studio with somebody who's like, hey, you need to work on this, or that sounds perfect?
Well, I think you nailed it with that's why we're doing this, is trying to find out, actually. Mm-hmm. And I'm still not sure, because both times at the Blasting Room and Voodoo Studios, like, not in our basement, it was an incredible experience. And the things that the engineers we worked with added, like, I'm shocked sometimes. I listen back, I'm like, I can't believe we almost didn't do that. That's such an obvious, like, a no-brainer move. And if Jason didn't tell us that, like, where would this song be? That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But like, I love this room, and I love the basement studio we used to. Like, I moved recently, and the ease of being like, let me just do one more on my own time, and then 4 days later, I listen back, I'm like, I can do a little better, and I don't have to like fly back out to New York and do a little better. It's just very easy. I'm still torn. I don't know, Chris. What do you think?
I think there are just probably benefits to both. I don't know if one is necessarily always going to be better than the other, but there's just something really sweet about going to a real studio and working with a total pro, someone who's just got like wisdom, just tremendous wisdom and a great ear, and someone who like really likes your music or the type of music you play. Like, it's just really cool to be in the setting with those people. But then, as Will mentioned, it's also great that we can lay down really good sounding music in our own basement and do it exactly as we want. I mean, Flow took us like probably a year to write. We did it in chunks, and it wouldn't have happened if we had shown up at a studio and just said, hey, let's like try and figure this song out. I mean, that's kind of what happened in the last part of putting Flow together, but that's a song that just needed nurturing over 12 months.
But that's the thing. I mean, I'm sure sometimes you could sit down and bust a song out in a day, and then others take time. But it's just, you gotta not even pick and choose. It's just kind of, you don't want to try to force anything. You want the song to come naturally to you. So totally understand that.
That's exactly
Absolutely. Right. So because of super random question, but why not ask? Since we had all this hibernation time, have you guys discovered any new talents?
New talents? I can't think of any new talents. That's really unfortunate. I put together a prefabricated shed recently. I don't know if that's a talent or just a commitment to a DIY, like a IKEA-esque, assembly that I didn't expect I had in me. I loved it.
Perfect. How about you, Chris?
I think a new talent of mine is growing man buns. So
yes.
Perfect. Let's show it.
There it is. Turning sideways helps. Yeah.
There we go.
That's pretty good. A little lower, maybe. That's it. That's it.
The quarantine hair, just keeping it there all the time.
So my hair has never been this long, and I've decided that I'm not going to cut it until the day I get vaccinated, and maybe even wait longer than that.
I like
So-
that.
Oh, that'll be, you have to do some like live stream or something of you finally cutting your hair. What the day is.
Good call.
Donating to Locks of Love.
Are you actually?
I don't know. Maybe
It's long enough?
It's probably getting close.
That's incredible. You should definitely do that. That's incredible.
Nice.
I'm also now obsessed with the show Survivor. I wasn't before quarantine, and I want to apply. So
Are you watching it on
that's-
Netflix?
Netflix and Amazon Prime.
That's
Here we
amazing.
go. My fiance and I, we turned on the first episode of Survivor a couple nights ago, right before bed. We were like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Like, there's no way we're going to fall asleep. It was so great.
Which one? Cagayan? 28?
Whatever the first episode that you can play on Netflix is.
Okay.
Not sure
don't know.
exactly. But
Chris, you don't know?
Well, I've only seen
Survivor
one of the
expert?
seasons.
Okay.
There are two
Okay.
on Netflix.
Got it. Got it.
That's amazing.
So, with these EPs, am I allowed to ask about any release dates? Or is that a little hush hush?
Yeah. So there's actually, this is something I was going to bring up earlier because this bothers me. Still a Child is an EP. It's just that Spotify calls it a single if it's like fewer than 5 songs or something like that. And I actually thought it was fewer than a higher number than that. But Chris, I was going to tell you, one of our friends released a 5-song EP and it calls it an EP. I was like, oh, I want ours to be called an EP. This is called a single. People like they don't even know there are 2 other songs on there. Like you even did your research and you knew
And I
Flow
did,
because
yeah.
the radio and Signaling is at the 3rd one on there, and people might not even know.
Yeah.
So that's maybe our bad for not playing their game, but
Yeah, we should have just thrown 2 bad demos on.
just as a surprise.
Yeah.
If you find them, yeah, we can do that. The next EP we're working on is almost done, actually. Yeah, it's almost done. So that'll be released. We're not exactly sure. Probably March or April, because we have some fun surprises in January and February that'll keep the ball rolling. And so once that stuff's done, we'll do the EP a month or 2 after that. And then the 3rd one, we're still recording it, so that won't be probably till the middle or end, probably end of next year, just to space it out.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
we don't have specific dates yet.
No, right? That's months are good enough for me.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
so do you guys have a favorite Denver venue to play at?
Oh, man.
Because I haven't been to any venues out here besides Red Rocks, and that's even Morrison. So
That would be my favorite, I'm sure, that would be, if we have an opportunity.
Mine's a Bluebird. It's really epic. It's like a 550-person theater. And it's just awesome. Like, it's not too big of a room where you maybe like lose the individual person in the crowd, but it's big enough where we feel epic on stage. I think the Bluebird.
It's a great answer. I was thinking Bluebird too, and so I think I'd probably agree, except I want to add one potentially unfair answer. We got to play with the band Enzy, or her live band. She actually won Hometown for the Holidays in 2018, and so the prize was playing as the opening band for Not So Silent Night 2019,
right.
so, a little over a year ago, and we got to play with her at Mission Ballroom to a sold-out crowd, and that was an unbelievable experience. So
That was insane.
if you count that, then Mission Ballroom.
Totally.
But,
The venue you played at, I'll absolutely count
Yeah,
that.
and Compass Cavern didn't play at it, so it's like, but I was on stage, so maybe that's something.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Well, it's an
So-
unbelievable venue.
I'm so excited for shows to be back and for me to finally get to explore all of what Denver has to offer. Because that's been the one thing where moving from close to Los Angeles to be out here, the big thing about moving here, I was like, okay, the music scene is going to be almost identical to LA. There's always going to be shows happening, and going to concerts, that's my escape. That's my favorite thing to do. So coming here, it's like, I don't know anybody. I can't go to concerts to meet friends. I still have to even learn about like venues and everything about just for in the future. So
Right.
That's hard. Yeah. We've got a great set of venues. Venues of all different clubs of different sizes, and it's just perfect. You can catch bands on the rise. You can catch bands that are huge, or bands who are maybe used to be huge and are kind of on the downslope
Yes.
of careers. Like you can find them all
Those shows are so much fun. My mom works at a venue like that in back in California where they get like they had so Trapped. That was the only band I got to see in 2020. But like that's
Really?
an example of
Headstrong band, right?
Of course,
The right one. Yeah.
that's the one. They just kicked out the lead singer of their band for some like crazy Twitter rampage that he went on. Disaster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like the lead singer that they've always had. They just kicked him out.
Yeah.
Wow.
They want to try to rebrand and start fresh.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good luck.
So sidetracked. Anyways, where can our Concert Crap listeners find all of your music?
I mean, anywhere you normally look, Spotify, Apple Music. We try to keep Bandcamp and SoundCloud updated, but those are definitely secondary. I would go Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube, of course. We got music videos. Were you going to say that, Chris?
Yeah, Pandora. I forgot YouTube, but we have YouTube.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Well, any other big things you guys want to chat about or have any little fun things that I didn't get to bring up that you have just kind of been in the back of your head?
I'm just kind of so excited about this because I listened to him today. I'm just going to go ahead and say this, and we'll just, whatever, little leak that we're going to release a couple. Is this okay, Chris?
Go ahead.
Okay. We're going to release a couple songs for a Valentine's Day special. In the same way we just did 2 songs for Christmas, the Christmas songs, we're doing the same thing for Valentine's Day. And I'm very excited because we've never done this before, and I love the songs, and they're sounding incredible. I think it's hilarious and awesome. It's my favorite combination of like joke and I think they're taking it seriously though. It's perfect.
Awesome. I'm so excited to hear that. That'll be great.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. I really appreciate it, and I'm so excited to follow your career and all of that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Allie. We appreciate it.
Of course.